What's going on YouTube? This is Brian916. I got another video for you. Hopefully you like this topic. In this topic I'm talking about 5 things that people ask auto technicians to do that we don't actually do. So I get calls from people all the time asking for these particular services that most auto technicians, auto mechanics don't do. And just, I guess people are unaware of them. So I got 5 things that I get asked to do all the time, and you guys probably get asked to do them too. But anyway, so I thought I'd spit them out. I was gonna do a 5 pet peeves video, but there's so many of those videos out there, and I kind of agree with like everybody's pet peeves. I couldn't agree more. A lot of those videos is like spot on. The stuff that people do is completely annoying, so I don't really need to get into that. I'm sure you've seen those videos. Just know I agree with almost all of those videos, and those are my pet peeves too. Probably every technician that do this for a living, their pet peeves too. So I wanted to do something a little different, more. This is sort of along the lines of that. It's just things people ask us to do that we don't do. So anyway, let me get into the topic. This is not in any particular order. I'm just gonna spit them out because they're all equal. We all equally don't do these jobs, so there's no one that's worse than the other. So I'm gonna start off with number 1 is glass replacements. Windshields, even passenger glass, passenger window glass, rear glass, trunk glass, any type of glass in a vehicle. Auto technicians do not deal with glass, and I get calls all the time. I have a windshield guy or a glass guy that I'll call, and he'll come to the shop and do the glass work for us, but I don't do the glass work, nor do I really know how to do glass work. It's not what I do. So I refer to somebody who does do glass work. So yeah, I get that call all the time. So if you're watching this video out there, don't call an auto mechanic if you need glass replaced. Call Safe Light or look up for a local glass business in your area. Auto mechanics don't do glass. So that's number 1. Number 2 is bodywork or collision repairs. I get that all the time. Granted, some mechanics can do basic auto body, just like most auto body guys could do basic mechanical. But there's a huge contrast between the two professions. The things that we keep in the shop, the tools we use, the equipment, the type of chemicals we work with, the two are not the same. So I get asked to do that all the time. Now, I've done a couple auto body repairs from minor collisions through an insurance company, but it was more on the mechanical side. Her radiator was broken. Her fans were broken. She had a bumper, a headlight, and just a fender that needed to be replaced. And the body shop told her to take it to a shop because most of it was mechanical, being at the radiator, the AC condenser as well, the fans and all that stuff was the majority of the damage. So we went ahead and took care of the fender and bumper too. But auto mechanics don't do body work. That's not what we do, or collision repair. So that's number 2. Number 3, I got down vehicle appraisals. Okay, auto mechanics do not appraise vehicles. We can't tell you how much your vehicle is worth. That's just not how things work. But I get people asking me all the time, Brian, how much is this car worth? Brian, how much can I get for this car? Well, if a mechanic gives you a price, essentially what he's saying is that's how much he would pay for it. Okay? None of us are vehicle appraisers. You need to go on like Kelley Blue Book or some other website to try to get an idea of what your vehicle is worth. Now, we can take an assessment of the vehicle and tell you how much we would pay for it, but that's pretty much, that's it. When you sell things, there's really no price tag on anything someone sells to another person. It's how much that person is willing to pay for what you have. Pretty much dictates how you sell something. So yeah, we don't appraise vehicles, and you can't say, hey, I had a mechanic look at it and he said it's worth $7,000, so give me $7 grand for it. That's not how it works. We don't really appraise vehicles, but I do get that all the time. All right, so that was number 3. Number 4 is installing audio equipment like CD players and amps and speakers and DVD players and all that stuff. Auto technicians don't install that stuff. There's guys who do that. You have to take it to an audio installer. They'll be much more suited to do that kind of work. They got the tools, they got all the wiring you need, they got all the information in that area, specific area. So I get asked to do that sometimes. I don't do it, it's not what I do. Can I install a radio? Sure, I can install a radio. But does that make me a professional audio installer? No, not at all. I would recommend you take it to one of those guys to get it done. So that's number 4. And then last but not least, I got performance upgrades / modifications to a vehicle. I get that all the time. We don't do that. Auto technicians are trained to take vehicles back to factory specifications. If we see a modified vehicle, that's like completely against like what we're trained to do. Most auto mechanics hate modified vehicles. Okay, so if you look into modify a vehicle, don't take it to an auto mechanic. He's not going to modify your vehicle. It's just totally against the grain and something we don't do. If you need someone to screw up and jack up your suspension because you want to put giant wheels on it, don't take it to a mechanic. He's not going to ruin your suspension just so you can put those ridiculous wheels on there. He's not going to do that. Or if you're looking for some type of high performance upgrades, there's guys out there that specifically deal with high performance upgrades. Most of the time, you want to deal with machinists when you want to have an engine built putting out high performance, because they're the ones that's going to be able to get in there and measure all the engine tolerances and be able to calculate what kind of compression you can get out of this motor. So a lot of times you want to go to a machinist to have an engine built with high performance applications. I'm not talking about your basic cold air intake or a Flowmaster exhaust or something like that. Sure, you could take it to an auto technician for that. I'm talking about the real deal, serious high performance upgrades. Auto technicians don't do that. You have to take it to someone that specifically does engine altering or engine modification, because essentially a high performance engine is basically a modified engine, an engine that's manipulated to produce a massive amount of power. And again, that goes back to what we do. We make things back right. We take something that was wrong and make it right again. Now, to make a vehicle, manipulate a vehicle to produce more power, that's making it wrong again, so to speak. So you'd have to take it to someone who's specifying that. Typically it'd be a machinist. You get to build you a high performance engine. So anyway, those were my 5 things that I usually get customers calling me, asking me to do that I don't do. So hopefully you like my video and like my little rant here on the 5 things that auto mechanics get asked to do that we don't do. This is Brian 916. It's always a pleasure to make videos for you. Thank you for watching. We'll see you on the next one.